it's me again, and I am back in Japan, magically. I also have no face makeup on, and you guys know what that means. It means it's time to do another foundation first impression. I've been full of these things lately because I had some retail therapy while I was home and bought a ton of foundations to try. Today though, we're going drugstore. We are going to be trying the Rimmel Lasting Finish 25-Hour Foundation with Comfort Serum. I've been hearing a lot about this stuff. A lot of people are really into it. It's, you know, people claim that it lasts forever, that it looks like skin, all this beautiful stuff. And I'm like, we'll see about that. On Ulta's website, I'm looking at the claims right now. It says Rimmel's Lasting Finish Foundation lasts for 24 hours. It is party-proof, transfer-proof, and leaves you with flawless-looking skin around the clock. Weighty claims for sure. I got this in the shade Ivory. Might end up being a little bit off, but we should be okay, I think. I'm just gonna go ahead and dig right into this. I did already prime at one point, but I was scrambling around looking for my camera, which I could not find. And so now I'm a little bit glowy. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some blotting paper here. Of course, I always grab like 4 sheets when I only need to grab 1. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name is Faith Grenade and I put makeup videos here on YouTube. I'm also super attractive, in case you haven't noticed. I'm just blotting away any excess moisture that might be on my face because I want to give this foundation the best chance possible. I actually highly recommend that if you want your foundation to last a long time. After you've moisturized, blot your face of any excess moisture because that can actually cause your makeup to move around. I've also primed. I use the same primer I use with pretty much every foundation lately. That's the Too Faced Hangover RX primer. Again, not because I want to give this foundation any kind of advantage, it's just because that is what I do. That's what I would normally do with any other foundation. So, we've got a glass bottle here, red cap, and no pump, which is disappointing because this stuff used to be in a squeezy tube. Why they would switch it to a glass bottle with no pump, I will never know. Okay, this stuff is thick. It has a scent. It smells a little on the floral side. It's not a bad smell. It's just, it has a fragrance, so that's something to keep in mind. I'm just gonna start applying this here. For those of you who might be wondering, I have combination skin. I do tend to get a little bit oily in the summer and a little bit on the dry side in the wintertime. I also have extremely sensitive skin because I am currently on Retin-A, which means that my skin is regenerating layers at a faster rate than it normally would, which means that I'm more susceptible to reactions when it comes to makeup and skincare. I'm just gonna do 1/2 of my face here. This is the Real Techniques buffing brush. It's the brush I typically like to use with liquid format foundations. And so far, a little is going quite a ways. It's not covering everything in one fell swoop. I'm not feeling any burning or itching at all. There's a little bit of burning right in here, but that will happen to me with pretty much any foundation, so that's just the situation I find myself in a lot of the time. That's not a rag on this foundation, because my skin is particularly sensitive right through here. But the finish is looking really, really nice. It's quite smooth, although it is showing my little bumpy bumps right next to my nose here. So there you go. There's one side with, one side without. So far, I'm digging it. It does very much look like skin. The color match looks pretty damn good. I'm gonna do the other side of my face here real quick, and then we will see if we can build this puppy. Yeah, there's a little bit of a burning sensation, but I think it's less, it doesn't feel like a reaction, if that makes sense. It feels more like my skin is like, oh, this is new. Oh, we don't know what to do with ourselves. So I imagine that will calm down shortly here. It's just giving me enough coverage to blur out most things. I mean, my scarring is still a little bit visible, but it's doing a pretty decent job. It's blending very easily. Not bad. Put a little more on my blemishes here. See if I can get the redness tamped down a little bit more. I'm not going to be wearing this for 24 hours because that's just a terrible idea. Don't ever do that if you can help it. You know, you're supposed to wash your makeup off at the end of the night. There is the foundation on my entire face. Now I am feeling some mild burning, mostly right here on the tops of my cheekbones. That will happen with me from time to time, and I think it's just my skin freaking out because there's something new on it. My skin is prone to doing that, particularly since I've been on Retin-A. So that little blob of foundation that was on my hand, I didn't feel the need to pour anything else out because that one little blob covered pretty much everything I need to cover. Obviously, you know, it's not going to cover up like actual blemishes, but the redness of those has tamped down significantly. My scarring isn't completely covered, but it's good enough that from far away a lot of the time, I don't think anyone will really notice it too much. Color match looks okay, might be a little on the pink side, but I'm used to having that problem. All in all, pretty impressed so far. It is kind of accentuating my lines in my forehead a little bit. No more than, you know, they don't look any worse than they would without foundation, but they still definitely are there. They haven't disappeared or anything like that. I probably will set it with powder just because that's what I would do with any foundation that I use. But let's see if I can find one. There's a powder. Some Coty Air Spun. I think I'm going to add a little bit of concealer to some spots too. Not necessarily because this foundation doesn't cover, just because it's what I would normally do with a liquid foundation. Got some Shaver Tape. Dot a few dots around here. Just on those little trouble areas. And this Shape Tape, the hype is real. I mean, I know I've probably mentioned it in videos before, but I get it. I get the hype with this. It's like super, super, super full coverage. Full coverage, that means business. There's the foundation with the concealer on. I gave it a few seconds and it feels like it is setting down. So I might not even need to powder this, which would be super nice. Might still powder in some spots. I haven't really decided yet. You know what, just to be safe, I'm gonna take a little bit of my Coty Air Spun, just a touch, just like a little bit. And I'm just gonna brush that and pat it over the areas where I tend to fade the quickest. There's the foundation, bang zoom, there's what it looks like. I'm pretty impressed so far. It is showing a little texture, more than I'm used to anyway. Like the bumps under my eyes are sticking out for some reason. Could be the concealer too. But even with just the foundation with no concealer on it, there was some texture on the sides of my nose that's showing a little bit, but again, I've seen way worse from way higher end foundations. So far I am pretty impressed. So I'm gonna do the rest of my face makeup real quick and then I will be back to check in with you guys. All right guys, I am back. My face makeup is done. Honestly, I didn't really run into too much trouble. Then again, I did use my backup brushes because my other brushes are currently washed and drying at the moment. I can't decide if I want to keep a monochromatic look or go with a black lip the way I always do, but that's beside the point. We're talking about foundation here. So the foundation, it does seem to have oxidized a small bit, but it was a little bit light on me to begin with, so that's not necessarily a deal breaker for me. The match still looks okay. There's a little bit of an ashy quality to it in some spots. Not really sure what's up with that. It probably just has a little bit of pink in the shade, which being an Eastern European olive-skinned individual, any kind of pink is gonna make me look gray. But I am picking up on that a little bit, so I thought I'd mention it. Everything went on pretty smoothly. I didn't really run into that much trouble. Even with using my backup brush set, my bronzer's a little bit patchy, but that might not have anything to do with that. That might have everything to do with the brush I used to put it on. So there you go. I'll get all up in your grill right here so you can see how everything went on. The eye stuff is intentional. Justin thought it wasn't, but it is. Scanning all around. Honestly, give or take some textural issues on the thinner skin on my face, it looks really, really nice so far. Particularly when it comes to drugstore foundations, I don't end up having the best luck with them a lot of the time. But I have used setting spray. I used my Lorac Pro contour palette, which I hadn't used in a really long time, and I don't know why, because it's great. And I used the Take Me to Tantigo bronzer palette. Then for blush, the copious amounts of blush I have going on today comes from Wet n Wild's Mellow Wine. Digging that too. And my lip is Unicorn Blood, which is also the speckles on my eyes, so it works out. Anyway, let me see. Hey, darling, what time is it?
1:30?
1:30. So we'll call 1:30 the official first check-in time, even though in reality I probably finished putting on the foundation at about 1 o'clock, but we'll just go ahead and call it 1:30. So far in the last 30 minutes since I put it on, nothing has changed. I did use some setting spray because that's just what I would normally do, but I'm gonna go about my day, whatever my day holds. I have no idea what I'm doing today. I'm gonna try and get some stuff done toward the future and whatnot. It's probably gonna be pretty boring, but I'll try and take you with me. If anything interesting happens, you will be around for it. So let's go ahead and see how this holds up. Alright guys, checking in. This lighting is making my makeup look cool as hell, but it's like 5:40. We're in Ibina right now doing some walking around, some pogoing, some shopping, and this foundation looks pretty damn good. I'm really impressed so far. It's not really doing any texture emphasis any worse than it already was, and we are now 4 hours in, so doing good so far. Let's see. Hey honey, how's my makeup look?
Fierce.
I'll check in with you guys in a couple hours. See you, bye. Hi guys. Checking in for the final time. It's 9:09 p.m. So since that is officially the 8-hour mark since I put on the foundation, I'm gonna go ahead and call it there because I'm tired. I'm jet lagged as fuck still, so I've been going to bed at like 9 o'clock, so it's gonna be past my old lady bedtime here pretty soon. And Justin is there. Hi Justin. How are you?
Hi.
I'm getting on his nerves, but as for the foundation, we are still looking pretty damn good, I gotta say. You know, it's one of those foundations that seems to have gotten better the longer I've worn it. It feels, I don't want to say it's like super lightweight, but it's not super heavy either. It's one of those foundations that's somewhere in between. I like the coverage level. It's not like full coverage right away, but it does give a decent amount of coverage to the point where you can build it up to full if you need to. It starts out with a pretty matte finish, which can emphasize the fine lines in my forehead up here a little bit, but that seems to have ebbed away as time has gone on and as my own natural oils have started to kind of peek through. You can see my blush, bronzer, and highlight are still mostly there, I would say. I'd say that's mostly there. So, you know, longevity-wise, this thing did fantastic. I'm talking nothing has changed, nothing has creased, nothing has gotten super oily. I'm very, very impressed with the wear time and how good it still looks, even now, 8 hours later. Usually for me, I'm combo oily and I tend to get oily around my nose, so usually the 8-hour mark is right around the time things will start to break down if they're going to break down. So in that way, I am really, really impressed with this stuff. I guess the only drawbacks are like on initial application, it looks a little rough. It emphasizes texture a small bit, but that doesn't seem to have gotten any worse, so that's good. And the other drawback is I think there's something funky with the shade or something. I don't know. I'm going to keep messing around with it because for some reason this went on, you know, like a fair yellow undertone foundation, which is exactly what I'm looking for normally. But you can almost see, or I can see in the viewfinder here, my neck is way more yellow than my face. And I don't know if it's just the eye makeup I did today, because I did a very monochromatic kind of red berry makeup that it might have brought out the pink in this foundation or something, but I think there's something funky with the shade. I think it's just a little too pink, and it's gotten to looking like a little bit red gray on me. I don't know, it's really weird. So I'm gonna keep playing around with it. I'm gonna keep using it with different eye makeup looks and see if anything changes. I'm going to use it with different bronzers and things like that, maybe try mixing it with a few foundations. But for now, my first impressions are very positive. I'm very impressed with this foundation, especially for being drugstore. I mean, this thing was like $6 at Walmart. So overall, I'm very, very impressed. It certainly has done better than quite a few of the high-end foundations I've tried in the last couple weeks. So that's about it for me. I'm gonna probably wash my makeup off here pretty soon and hit the hay like it owes me money because I'm tired. But I hope you guys found this helpful, informative, or entertaining. If you did, there's a button for that. Spank that like button in the butt. You know it deserves it. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe and become a member of the faithful today. I put out new videos every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Toodles!